for that. And also, let's go back to our top story, and that is the Azimio protest being called off yesterday after the Kenya Kwanza adhered to their demand of removing one member of that committee. And we cross over live to the Spice, a sister station, radio station, that is the Spice FM, where George Murugara, who is the Kenya Kwanza chair of the bipartisan talk, who's also the Tharaka Nithi MP, is in the studio for that interview. So you cross over live and listening to what he has to say and why they had to adhere to that demand by the Azimio team.
Brush aside the rest of the other group, they may feel we are in government. We have the power, we have the machinery, we have everything. And therefore they start saying we are treating them as underdogs. That is not the case. If anything, we are going to bend. As we said yesterday and the day before, we will bend to accommodate these talks because they are for the better of the country. The country is bigger than all of us. Whatever we do, we know there is posterity in the country. Today is Murugara. 20 years, I will never be anywhere near possibly where I am. It will be somebody else. But I cannot say, let me ban the country now and enjoy my little time I have here on earth on some ashes because I will have nobody to discuss me. That is wrong.
Beyond the subjects, the matters that we have been told will be part of the discussion, does your forum allow for other issues to be brought in that were not necessarily tabled in the first instance?
I think we will have to because of Article 118 of the Constitution, which is on public participation. We want to take public participation as real, as it should be, such that when we invite you, you come with your issues, bring them to the table, make a presentation. They form part and parcel of the agenda. We are not inviting the public to come and give us some cosmetic talk, some talk that is going to be to grease what we have been doing. It is going to be real. It's going to be for everybody. Let those who have interested groups, we may not be able to accommodate every Kenyan, and that's why we may have to go by interested groups, and maybe political parties, religious groups, human rights commission, associations, NGOs, etc. But also we may have to accommodate a few individuals out on their own right because of their peculiar position in the society. All that we are saying is part and parcel of the discussion we are going to have within the time that we are going to get, because we also won't have this indefinitely. Although we may approach it this way, we have not discussed, it's my own view, that we take the most urgent of the issues raised by Azimio and possibly raised by Kenya Kwanza. One by one, we deal with it to conclusion so that there is no lacuna as we talk. We are trying to bridge up the gaps like IEBC. IEBC may not wait longer than it has waited. We now need to go to the table, agree on how to approach that issue so that we have a commission in place and we can have the looming by-elections conducted.
You know, in every negotiation, there is bad cop, good cop, by design, by default. Even in the Kofi Annan talks of 2008, for those who participated in it, tell us, you know, even within our side as a PNU, within our side as ODM, we had people who were hardliners.
Hardliners.
People who would say, no, there's no way we're exceeding this ground. You've looked at your members.
We've looked at
the seven of you.
Absolutely.
Right? Do you have hardliners in your group?
No. I'm happy to report that we do not have, strictly speaking, hardliners. Even the new member we've brought in, Honorable Adan Keynan, is a diplomat par excellence. He does his things in a very humane, humble, and a peaceable manner. He's not a person we'll call a combatant. All right? So we've looked at our membership, and I think that is the reason he gives those compliments, that we look like people who are out to talk in utmost good faith. We don't look. We are going to be. No hardliners, absolutely. Their side, they may have 2 or 3. But we pacify those ones. We will tell them, look, you have to reason. You cannot always say it's either this or that. And just reason with everybody. They may have 2 or 3. And I believe that is why they were looking upon us with some element of contempt when we were formed. Said, sorry, you brought us some greenhorns here.
You're weaklings.
Some weaklings who cannot discuss anything. You just need to be there to hear them speaking so politely and in a very convincing manner. Because I believe the reasons why we were selected must have been, we want to go in there not to ruin these talks, but to carry the talks through.
How will you deal with the hardliners on that side?
We try to convince them.
Because I'm sure you've had several meetings.
We have had several meetings.
You have looked at the characters across you and the demeanor of the people that you're facing.
Absolutely, yes.
And there are those who appear, these ones we are going to have extra work to bring them on board.
And unfortunately, possibly, you may not even know who they are. You may have some thinking of or some suspicion. So it is not that way. When you reach the table, it's when you see there are actually different people who are taking quite hardline positions. But we are of the view that they too will mellow as we go along. They will see to it that the country is more important than their political party formation, than them as individuals, even than the core principles, the appointing authorities. We must bring the country first in whatever discussion we are going to have, and we emphasize. You asked me, what can you say? We emphasize that the talks are going to be within the law. Anything outside the law, we will have to leave it for enactment in Parliament or whichever other way it's going to be approached, but we are going to have the talks within the law.
Within which law?
With the law that is existing in the country.
So the present law?
The present law, because that's what we have.
Okay.
We cannot think of the future law or some law that has been repealed. We will have the existing law. When you bring your issue, if we bring the issue of security as Kenya Kwanza, what does the law say? And which is this law we are talking about? Does it require amendment? Does it require repealing? Do we require new law? All that is what we shall be talking about. But we cannot say we will now act this way when there is no law that says that is what you can do. Because that, again, is going to be extra legal.
Okay. Let's take a break at 28 minutes to 9. The conversation this morning is with regards to the bipartisan talks. How long can this window for talks remain open? The co-chair of the bipartisan committee is the Honorable George Murugara, the MP for Tharaka constituency, also the chairman of the National Assembly's Justice and Legal Affairs Committee. He's here. He represents the Kenya Kwanza primarily, but also now as a co-chair, he represents the bipartisan committee. How long can this window be open, and what do we expect from this committee? We've been telling you about this new campaign by I&M Bank, and they're saying, listen, we have Kenya's largest unsecured personal loans. Imagine going to I&M Bank and saying, all right, I don't have a title deed, I don't have a logbook, I don't have anything to bring as security. I only have my income. Give me a loan. And they tell you, we can give you up to 10 million shillings. Imagine that, the largest. Imagine up to 10 million shillings.